Hi guys, Dave here, and today I'm going to show you my fingerstyle arrangement for Everybody Hurts by REM. First of all, I'll start off with the pattern. The song's in 6/8 time, and this is a pattern I use for a lot of songs with this time signature. So the order is going to go thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. I'll demonstrate this on the D chord. One thing I'll also establish is that these three fingers are going to stay on the same strings. So my ring finger is going to be playing the first string E, my second finger will play the second string B, and my index finger is going to play the third string G. Pretty much all the way through this song. And the only thing that changes between the strings is going to be my thumb, depending on what chord I'm playing. So I'll demonstrate this on a D chord. So for a D, you hold down the second fret on the E, third fret on the B, second fret on the G, and my thumb is going to play the open fourth string as well. Like so. So for the introduction, I'm going to play two patterns on the D, just like I did there. Then we're going to switch to a G chord. So I'm going to hold down third fret on the first string E, third fret on the sixth string E. And that's all you really need to hold down. My thumb is now going to move to the sixth string and we're going to play through the pattern. If you're more comfortable holding down a regular G, which includes holding down the second fret on the A, by all means do that, but you don't need to. We're not playing that string. That's it. So two patterns on the G, and then we play through that twice for the introduction. Okay, so that plays through twice, and then when we play the verse, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go D for 2 bars, then G. We're going to do that 4 times, but on the 4th time round, we're going to do a little rundown on the G. So we'll play through the pattern once, and then we're going to do this. We're just going to play the first 3 notes of the pattern. So thumb, index, middle. Then I just drop down to the second fret on the E. Thumb, index, middle again. And this is going to lead us into the next section, which is going to be an E minor chord. So you kind of get the 4th time round on the verse will sound like this. So that leads us into what I suppose is the chorus. So the chorus, nice and simple, it's an E minor, so thumb stays on the 6th string. You don't actually have to hold anything down. For the E minor. But if you find it easier to hold down the shape, by all means do. That would be the 2nd fret on the D and the A strings. But we're not even playing them, so I don't feel the need. Then the next 2 bars are going to be an A chord, and normally you'd play the 2nd fret on the B, G and D strings, but I only play them on the strings that I'm playing. I'm only holding the strings that I'm playing, so that's just on the B and the G strings. My thumb is going to play the A string, and I'm play through the pattern twice. So for the chorus, we're going to play the E minor and the A 3 times. But on the 3rd time, when we get to the A, we're going to play the pattern once. And then we're just going to play the 5th string and then cut off the chord. So I'll play through the first chorus. And to get that cut off, all I do is put my fingers back on the strings, and that should cut the chord off nicely. So then you go back to another intro, or another two sequences of D to G. Then we do the verse again. Then we do the second chorus. And the only difference is that we don't do the stop. We just play E minor for 2 bars, A for 2 bars, and we do that whole thing 3 times. So basically the same thing without the stop. Then that's going to take us into the middle section, which is going to be an F sharp chord. I'm going to do an F sharp 7 rather than playing a bar chord. I've tried to make this as easy as I can for the left hand. So I'm going to basically do an F sharp 7 chord. So for that I'm holding down 2nd fret on the B, 3rd on the G, 4th on the D strings, and my thumb plays the 4th string. So 2 patterns on that. Then I switch to a B minor chord. My 3rd finger is going to stay on the 4th fret D, little finger plays 4th fret G, 3rd fret on the B, 2nd fret on the E strings, and the picking is the same. You're going to play through that 3 times. One thing that might make it easier when you're doing this change is your 3rd finger can stay where it is, and fingers 1 and 2 just jump over 1 string. Once we've played that 3 times, we move to a C chord. So this time my thumb's going to play the A string. So for a C chord, you would normally hold down the 1st fret on the B, 2nd on the D, 3rd on the A strings. We don't actually need to hold down the 4th string because we're not playing it. But again, if it makes it easier, then by all means hold down the shape. So we play that. So twice round on the C, then we move to a G chord. For 2 patterns. Back to the C for 1 pattern. Then we're going to do a little rundown. I'm going to play the first 3 notes of the pattern again. So thumb, index, middle. Then I'm just going to drop down to the 2nd fret on the A string and play the first 3 notes again, like that. And this is going to lead us into an A minor chord, which is, again, 1st finger stays where it is on the B string. Now you can just hold down the 2nd fret on the G if you like, and that's enough to play the pattern that we're using. If it makes more sense for you to hold down a regular A minor, then by all means do that. For that you would hold down 2nd fret on the G and 2nd fret on the D. But like I say, you don't really need to, not for this song. Thumb plays the A string. So once through the pattern, then go back to the A, play that with your thumb, and then cut the chord off. So I'll play from the C part of the bridge. Like so. Okay, so once you've gone through that middle section, you'll go back and play a regular verse again. And then we're going to jump to a verse, a chorus, and then we're going to jump to an end section where it's just going to go back to the D to the G for twice round on that. Then on the play out, it just does a slight variation and replaces the D chord with a D7. So second fret on the E, first on the B, second on the G string. And again, the thumb's playing the fourth string. And into a G. And it just goes around on that sequence. All the way through to the playoff, to the fade out, I should say. It kind of gives it a slightly more bluesy quality, I think, when you put the D7 chord in instead of the D. So it's a nice little effect that they stick on the end. One other thing I'll mention is sometimes when I play my G shape, just to make the change a little easier, I will use my little finger on the first string and my third finger on the sixth string. And for me, sometimes it just makes it a smoother change when I'm going between certain chords. So for example, if I play through the pattern of the D7, the very last note I'm playing is actually the second finger. Now normally that would be the first note of the G chord, but by using my third finger instead, it kind of makes it a little bit easier to swap between the shapes because it's not tied up right to the end of the pattern. I've got a couple of notes to kind of get my third finger over to start the G pattern. So it's worth bearing in mind. You might find it makes it easier. I use the same idea when I swap between C and G chords. Again, it's just an easier move for me to use my third and fourth fingers. It's just less of a jump. So worth bearing in mind when you're playing the G chord. Using the alternative fingering for that can sometimes make the change a little bit easier for you. Okay, well that's the whole song. I hope you find this useful and have lots of fun playing the song. Okay guys, I'll see you for one real soon.